Hi, it's Sandra here from Creating Spain. These are things that I've purchased myself. I haven't been given them or given any special deals. Absolutely no sponsorship whatsoever. But I've never used a nail gel in my life, okay? I do happen to have had training in manicure, which I had many years ago before nail gels and nail building was that popular. And so I've not used this sort of thing, and in general I probably wouldn't use it on my own nails because I generally don't actually need to. I don't keep my nails really long, but on the odd chance that, and I did this recently, I break a nail, it would be really quite handy to be able to quickly repair it and let it grow out without any further damage and without ripping the nail off. And that's one of the reasons why I thought this would be useful, and I stand by that. I think it will be extremely useful for that on the odd occasion I do break a nail. So anyway, it arrives very nicely packaged. There we go, this is the box, and it comes in its own little foam bed. And it is sealed with a little metal tab when you first open it. This one obviously has been opened, so it no longer has the metal tab. But you see, like so. And it is a very thick gel, and so if you squeeze it from the bottom, it takes a considerable effort to squeeze it, and as you can see from the slow way that is coming out, it's capable of standing on its own. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe that little bead off the top like so. Now you want to try and make sure that you keep the top of that clean, so maybe wipe it with an alcohol wipe. And I suggest that you allow the gel to go back into the tube before putting the cap on. The reason I suggest that is because I found when I didn't do that, every time I open the cap, the pressure in the tube will force it out and it comes out on its own before I'm ready to scrape it off. So I've just got a plastic spoon here, and I'm just going to add it to a blob that I got on there already. Now that blob was put on there about, I don't know, a quarter of an hour ago, and I've not done anything much with it. I've just, let it sit, so it's not been cured. So that's what it actually looks like. I've got the clear one. It comes in several different colours, but because I was thinking of craft use as well as just fixing a broken nail or two, I got it in the clear. And I happen to think they're probably pretty nice colours. Now in order to use this and manipulate it, and this is a very sticky gel by the way, this is going to stick to anything that it goes onto, but as you can see I can turn the spoon, it doesn't move, it stays put where it's being placed. But it is sticky, and in order to work it you need to dip a brush into alcohol, and then you can manipulate it. But even then, and maybe this wouldn't happen if I had proper slip solution, which I don't, but even then you can feel the brush kind of tacking onto the gel. So I have some other things that I thought, maybe these will come in handy. Now these are artistic things. I have no idea what they're called. I think they're used for oil paints and acrylics and things like that, but I use them for various odd things. But I found that if you dip one of these into alcohol, because these are silicone anyway, you can manipulate this and press it and play with it and move it around to your heart's content a lot easier. So, if you're concerned about your nail gels being awfully sticky and not particularly manoeuvrable or not easily manoeuvrable without you getting into a lot of fuss, then I would suggest something like that. Now I've got them in various different shapes, and as you can see I can press this gel, make it a bit closer. I should have got a coloured one actually so I could see it more easily, it's very difficult to see. So I can press this, tap it, I can feather it down, or so, whatever I want to do, I can do with one of these. And it's a lot easier, it doesn't stick to the product. The curing for the product is between, I think, 60 seconds or so and 2 minutes, depending on your lamp, or 30 seconds and 2 minutes. Pretty much standard for, you know, gel polishes and things of that type. And I have actually put this onto a friend's nails. I did it with a brush. It was not easy to see because all I was doing was basically like a thick nail varnish overlay to help protect her nails. But she was very happy with the result, and you know, I've got, as I said, no experience whatsoever of using this stuff, and I managed to make it work. Now the other way you can do it is by using nail forms, filling the nail form and then applying it to your nail. Again, I tried that and I made it work first time. I didn't keep it on, I wanted to remove it, but I did it on that fingernail there. When you do that, all you do is you add a base coat to a primed nail. By primed, I mean lightly filed so that you've got a nice smooth edge. Lightly filed on the top so whatever you put onto it can key onto it. It's a bit like preparing your window frames for paint. You need to have something for a product to key onto. So that's why you take the surface, the very, very top layer of the nail, and you buff it so that it loses its shine, so the product can key onto it. So you do that, wipe it off with some alcohol, put the base coat on, and I used Yukio, I have no idea how you pronounce it, base coat, and then you apply your gel after you've cured your base coat, and you know, you proceed as normal. And it was fine, it was perfectly right. I managed to pop the nail form off and I ended up with a nail which was somewhere out here. Not that I would ever keep it that way. I then trimmed it down with a pair of nail clippers and that wasn't a problem. There was no lifting or anything, and I thought to myself, how am I going to get this off? Because I didn't want to keep it on. And in the end, what I did was I did soak it in acetone for about 20 minutes, because the one thing I really don't know, because I found conflicting information, is whether that gel is supposed to be file off or soak off. Venalisa, you need to get your act together. You need to put that information out, okay? So I soaked it for about 20 minutes, I filed it a bit, I left it for a bit longer, and I did actually manage to tease it off eventually, without damaging my nail. I have to say, there was no damage whatsoever to my nail bed. Did manage to do it. But I wouldn't say that is the best way of doing it. Maybe you're supposed to file it. I don't know. I found one site selling it that said it was a soak off, and I found other information that says you have to file it off. No idea which is correct. So anyway, that's that one. The other thing that I wanted to show you were these polishes. Now the reason I got these were twofold. I have the same brand of base and top coat, which are the only base and top coat gels I possess. And I thought, well, if there is going to be any difference in compatibility, shall we say, it would make sense to get the same brand. And also, I managed to get a set of 3 for under, I think it was €4, including postage, from Amazon. I'll post the link below. But what I really wanted to say about these is that the colours that I thought I was getting is exactly what I got. Now, compared with when I purchased some one-coat gel polishes from Aldi, where the inside of the bottle did not match up with the outside of the bottle colour, then this is a definite improvement. I mean, these are realistic representations of the inside, which I think is wonderful because it saves me hassles with swatching or whatever, but it's just good to know when you purchase that what you get is the same as what you think it's going to be, pretty much. I mean, okay, you might get slight differences if your monitor is slightly different, I guess, but you know, once you get the bottles, what you see on the outside is what you're getting on the inside. I tested these out on a friend yesterday. I used the powder one on her. It is a very thick polish. It is not one of these runny things. It's nice and thick and creamy. Now, I found it went on very well. I was very happy with what it did. I've had experience with some pale colours before that when you put them on they're so streaky you think, ugh, it's going to take at least 3 coats to get anywhere. This managed to cover in 2 coats and it looked fine. And I've actually got this one on my nails at the moment because it was probably the closest to my natural nail colour. That's a bit paler than my natural nail colour. This one is probably the closest. And as it happens, I did a French manicure. Not the best French manicure I have ever done in my life, but I did one. And I was very happy with the way that worked. I did 2 coats and it was really, really easy to use. Stayed put, smoothed out nicely, brilliant. If anyone's interested, all I did for the white tip was I used some acrylic paint. And the reason it's not the best job ever is because I had cut myself some templates to do the smile line. But the templates that I had left weren't that sticky and let the paint get underneath a little bit. So it's not the best job I've ever done on French manicure, but it will do. And I'm just testing it out to see how long this is going to last. So I'll let you know at a later date. I'm hoping that I'll get at least a week out of it, maybe 2. My nails tend to grow quite fast, so I probably wouldn't wear it longer than 2 weeks in any case. But yeah, it did a reasonable job. It doesn't smell of anything, and yeah, it cured fine in my lamp, no problem at all. It does have a sticky inhibition layer on it, and you just wipe that off with alcohol and that's fine. And so far, so good. While I was playing, I decided to see whether it might be possible to do a baby boomer fade or some such with these polishes without too much aggravation. So all I did was I roughed up the surface of the back of a plastic spoon. I don't have any nail forms to use, so yeah. And I just put a little bit of the very pale polish on the base and the very darkest one on the top. Now, I didn't put them directly next to each other because I didn't want to mix the 2 colours, and I couldn't be bothered to decant them onto a tile and use a normal paintbrush. But all I did when I actually had them side by side was get a cocktail stick and just go like that. And I think it might actually work. So if you are interested in trying that out, let me know how it works for you, and it might be an easy way of doing it. We shall see. Okay, now in future I'm planning on doing the odd nail video, but I'll probably try and stick to 1 day a week, and I'm thinking maybe Fridays, maybe nail Fridays. Most of my subscribers are interested in paper craft, card making and arty, crafty type stuff like that, rather than nails. I am not abandoning them, okay? If you're interested in that, I'm definitely not abandoning. This is just an added extra. This is just because I like playing. Okay, thanks for watching. Take care now. Bye bye.